Welcome back. Alright, let's put this in the ether. If you guys hearing rain in the background, don't mind the rain. That's supposedly Hurricane Hillary. I'm in Southern California, by the way, if you inclined to know. But back to what I want to say in this video is that when compared to loneliness, right? Men handle loneliness better than women can. Alright? And they like to use loneliness as a derogatory term for men, or why men are so lonely. Men are lonely is detrimental for men and all this stuff. No, men, when it comes to loneliness, right, compared to women loneliness, right, men are in gray. Loneliness has something to do with what I think is that it has something to do with being in peril, being in danger, right? When you're in survival mode by yourself with nothing to do, hunting for boars, right? Those are sometimes a lonely activity. Fish, hunt, deer. Hunting for deer, do all these stuff, right? Those are individual activities when you have to hunt back for your food. So when you do that kind of stuff, you have to deal with loneliness. Loneliness is like a survival tactics for men. Men are ingrained to think quick and respond, to be pragmatic, to be rational, to not let loneliness or solitude get in his way of thinking, right? If anything, loneliness it accelerates men's thinking. It propels men to think better because there's no distractions, right? So this is why men handle loneliness better than women, right? When women put in a position of being lonely, this is why women get depressed, get angry, get frustrated when they don't have a partner. Well, this is why it matters to a woman when they're single than it is for men to be single, right? Men doesn't necessarily. It does in a way because we all social beings, but it's not a priority for men than it is for women, right? Because women, they're fragile creatures, right? They're fragile meaning they're vulnerable, right? They're vulnerable. They're susceptible to violence, susceptible to being attacked, right? This is why it's not natural for a woman to fend for herself, to go out there in the world for herself, because she's because women are biologically they're frail, right? They're frail. They're weak. I don't say that in disparaging ways. Right, but you have to look at reality, look at fact the way it is, look at biology the way it is, right? Men are programmed to survive outside in the field. This is why men take dangerous jobs, right? Men are most likely to be efficient hunters. Men are most likely to be efficient soldiers, right? Because when you're soldiers, sometimes you're put in a position where you have to be by yourself, right? Surviving for yourself. Right? When you're a hunter, you're in the position to be by yourself, surviving for yourself, right? When a woman, this is why women are not like sufficient hunters, right? I'm not saying women cannot hunt, right? But 9 times out of 10, when you put women by themselves in the terrain, leave them alone, they're not. The survival instinct is not there, right? I'm not saying women can't survive by themselves, but I'm saying most likely, majority of women out there don't have the skill set, the brain, the cognitive capability to survive by themselves, right? They're stressed under high pressure. They're stressed into tremendous amount of pressure. When you're in the survival mode, you know how much pressure it is, right? You have to maintain your composure. When women are stressed and have so much pressure on them, majority of women, I'm not saying all of them, majority of women crack under pressure. That's why they don't make a sufficient leader, or they can't guide as proficiently as a man can. They can't guide in the business, in a corporations, in a leadership of an executive office or anything like that as efficient as men. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying that they can't provide up to the level that men can. That's why men are predominantly holding these high positions, right? They're predominantly holding high position jobs, CEOs, executives, all these jobs. Right? Because they can outdo these jobs better than they can with women, right? But back to what I'm saying, that's another topic I'm talking about. I'm talking about when it comes to loneliness, right? Why do you think a lot of women are complaining out there they can't find a man? You don't see men doing this. You don't see men say, "I can't find a woman. I don't want to be by myself." It's hard to be by myself. Guys don't normally do this. This guy don't usually complain when guys. Guys, it's not a priority for guys right? To be in a relationship immediately. It's not guys been dealing with being single by themselves for all their life. So they're used to these kind of things. They're used to being by themselves. They used to be not having a partner when they were growing up, right? When they were kids, they had no partners or anything like that, right? And then they realize when they get up, growing up, right? Their hormones are enraging. They want to get a woman to be in a relationship, right? When they get older, they want to start a family. This is where they want to when they need to find a partner because you know, I guess social constructs say that you need to start a family within a certain time frame. That's why it propels certain men to be in a relationship, right? When in actuality, men can start a family at any time and point of their life. They can start a family when they're 80, right? They don't lose that ability to impregnate a woman, right? But I digress on that. But I want to refer back to being loneliness. Most men don't have a problem being lonely, all right? I don't have a problem being lonely, right? We Most men out there value their loneliest time, right? They value that because look at monks, look at yeah, look at monks, right? Most of the monks are lonely. They're solitude. They live in solitude confinement. They don't need to be with a partner, right? They don't stress over that, right? They dedicate their life to their practicing, their teachings, right? So they have this spirituality with God and God alone. Guys are more spiritual, right? When you're alone, you're more spiritual. You're more in touch with your inner side, right? That's what guys always needs, right? That's what makes a sane guy. Like, if he's in touch with his inner side, being alone is not a difficult thing, right? If anything, being alone will how do I say this? Being alone will put guys into the right state of mind. Why do you think guys go on a sabbaticals, right? Why do you think guys go on a hiatus, go on a journey of self discovery by themselves? Guys are more likely to do that, right? Why do guys go on a expedition by themselves? Why do Jesus fast for 40 days and 40 nights with nobody and it's only him by himself, right? Why do they do that? Because they do that to find their inner self, which means most of the time they have to be alone. They don't need all the distractions by themselves. What is all these things that in our life, right? All these people in our life coming in, they're just distractions. Sometimes guys need to be by themselves, right? They don't need all the distractions. When a guy work out, most guys out there prefer to be working out by themselves, right? Because they don't want all the distraction. Most guys like to go to a gym when there's nobody's in the gym because everything else is a distraction. Women love the company. Women love company. Men most likely don't mind not having any company at all, right? This is why women, when they deal with loneliness, they're engraved. Women are more sociable than it is for men to. Men is, right? That's why a lot of men are not bothered by being in this social climate or social environment, right? Women get turned on by these things, by being at parties, going bars, club, having fun with the girls, having girls' night out, and all these stuff. Girls like that kind of stuff. Girls like social environments, right? And then when they see something that they can't understand, they call you a loser. They see that men like buying them. They see a men who like to be by themselves. They tell them that there's something wrong with them. When in that actuality, there's nothing wrong with them. It's normal for a man to want to be by themselves, right? It's normal for men to be by themselves, and if it's with a woman, that's a plus too. And a woman is supposed to be there to complement his solitude, right? But I'm comparing how women dealt with loneliness. When a woman's in a lonely position, you can see it everywhere. They're making all these TikTok videos. Why can't I find a man? It's so depressing. When they get lonely, they get depressive, right? When they get very depressed. That's why it's not ideal for a woman to be out there by herself. When she's alone, she's scared, right? This is why women need a man more than men need a woman, right? Women need a man for their protection, for security purposes. She's gonna get attacked. She's gonna get taken advantage of if she don't have a man in her life. This is why it's innately in her DNA that she needed a man. Because when a woman is venture off into the unknown, right? Then she's susceptible to all kind of dangers, right? And that's why, that's what one thing that leads to her insecurity, leads to her um, vulnerability, it leads to her depressions, right? This is why women cannot handle being alone. They will be depressed. Right? When they can't find a man, they can start thinking there's something wrong with me. They're gonna be all depressed, cutting themselves, cutting slitting their wrists, right? Most men don't do that, right? The only reason why men are a few reasons why men are depressed is because if he think he failed in life, he can't support his family. He's in financial ruin, something extreme, right? But when we but to a guy being by himself is not extreme. For a woman being her by herself for a long time is something extreme. She's not conditioned to be by herself. When a woman grow up, right, she's being praised. This daddy's girl. She's getting all the attention compared to the boys. The boys don't get that much attention when it comes to baby girls, right? Baby boys get attention, but not the same attention as he would if he were compared to a baby girl, right? The baby's daddy, daddy's girl, right? And then when the boy's growing up, the boy's expected to live up to certain expectations, to live up to certain attitudes, to not be a crybaby, not being weak, right? When you're scared being by yourself, you're perceived as you're weak, as a weak male, right? When you don't know how to handle being by yourself, you're perceived to be a fragile creature, right? So men have a lot. The reason why men are they could handle being alone because they adapted to it when they were young. They adapted when they were young because they were most likely they were neglected sooner than baby girls, right? So we got used to it being by ourselves. Women, they were always getting attention, so they didn't get used to it, right? People always socialize with women, right? So when women get neglected by her husband, by anybody in her life, then she's gonna come to question all these things, and then it's gonna lead her to be sad, despondent, right? Resentful, depressed, all these stuff, right? So this is why these are some of the differences that men can handle loneliness better than it is for a woman to handle loneliness. Loneliness is women don't like to be alone, right? They think they want to be alone, but in actuality, when they put it into practice, it put them in a vulnerable state, right? They can't come up to par, right? They need a partner in life. That's why a lot of women who are lonely, they're very depressed, right? They need a cat to fulfill their loneliness. They fill it with buying stuff to fill in their loneliness. They hoard stuff to fill in their loneliness. They keep animals to fill in that loneliness. With actuality, all they really need is a partner, a man. But no, modern women have destroyed that, and men don't want to deal with that. That's why a lot of women these days, modern women, they're very lonely, right? They don't understand what they need is a man in their life. But I digress. I don't go anymore. But if you guys have any more examples and want to contribute or disagree or agree with me, leave a comment below. Right? I want to hear it. I want to understand where other people's coming from. But if you like my channel, I drop videos daily. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. I'm doing this for free, man. The least people can do, likes and subscribe is free, right? You don't have to click on my channel all the time, but do me a solid if you can do that. That's perfect. But on that note, guys, thank you for listening to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, as always, peace and blessings.